Heidi and I have been cruising together for nearly 20 years, and a lot of what we did on those early cruises, well, we don't do today. Some of those mistakes cost us money. Some of them cost us time, and I'll be honest, nearly a few of them cost us the whole trip. So in this video, we're sharing the things we've stopped doing after 100 cruises and what we do instead. And even if you're an experienced cruiser, stick around as we'll reveal one mistake that took us years to figure out that we still see even seasoned cruisers making to help you stay one step ahead of everyone else on board. Welcome aboard. I'm Don B from Eat Sleep Cruise. And when Heidi and I started cruising, booking was simple. Cruise lines had a few fare categories, most fares were refundable or had few restrictions, and the gap between picking your own stateroom and taking a guarantee was small. So we would just book the cheapest fare without even thinking about it, and it rarely mattered. Well, the whole system's changed now. Now there are fare categories for everything. Refundable, non-refundable rates, restrictions, reduced deposits, and that rock bottom price on many cruise lines come with stricter terms, non-refundable deposits, stricter cancellation policies. So we've stopped looking at price alone. Now we compare fares side by side every single time. Sometimes a guaranteed cabin gives us the best deal. Sometimes we pay a little bit more for refundable terms or selecting our own stateroom on particular ships, or if we really want a desired location. And here's what most people miss when comparing cruise prices: overall value. And sometimes when you have a bundle price, you make out better. Promotion like Princess Plus or Holland America's Have It All can beat the cheapest fare outright once you add up the inclusions, which are often drink packages, Wi-Fi, prepaid gratuities, and more. So it's the same cruise, just a better value and fewer surprises on your bill. So we stopped chasing that low number and we've booked smarter and stressed less ever since. On our first couple of cruises, we packed a steamer for formal night. Of course, Heidi wants to make sure she looks her best every single evening. We've done it a couple of times, no big deal. And during one trip, we received a note in our stateroom that our luggage was being detained. In the end, security confiscated our steamer. Turns out most lines ban steamers and irons as their fire hazards. Well, that was a lesson learned. Now, of course, we're much savvier and know that cruise lines prohibit many things, many of which are common sense, like weapons, other fire hazards like candles, and items like bottles of liquor and illicit drugs. But the ban list keeps growing, and some cruise lines are more restrictive than others. Many cruise lines let you take up to 2 750 milliliter bottles of wine on board per cabin, but not MSC cruises. While on the other hand, Viking Cruises lets you take on as much alcohol as you want. For the most part, cruise lines have always banned extension cords and power adapters with a power surge. But more recently, Royal Caribbean has completely banned multi-plug AC outlet splitters, allowing only multi-port USB charging bricks. Meanwhile, Carnival Cruise Line has recently instituted a strict ban on portable Bluetooth speakers. And as new technology arises, the cruise lines have been changing their policies. MSC Cruises recently banned Meta Ray-Ban smart glasses in all shipboard public areas, and Royal Caribbean followed suit by restricting them in casinos, restrooms, and youth zones. And of course, many cruise lines forbid drones or make you register them ahead of time. So now before we pack, we double, triple check the cruise line's prohibited packing list to ensure whatever we pack in our checked and carry-on luggage is acceptable. On our first couple of sailings, we sailed without a passport. On a closed-loop cruise, you technically don't need it. That's because a closed-loop cruise leaves from a U.S. port and returns to the same port. On those sailings, U.S. citizens can board with just a birth certificate and government photo ID. Those documents only get you on the ship. It does nothing for you if you have to leave. Miss the all aboard in a foreign port, have a medical emergency and need to fly off early, or a family matter means that you have to fly home. Now you're stuck overseas trying to get back to the States with no passport. So now we avoid all those potential headaches and always bring our passport. And we make sure it's valid for at least 6 months past our travel dates, since a lot of countries and many cruise lines require that window. For several years, we booked all our shore excursions straight through the cruise line. Felt safe, so we never questioned it. Then we started comparing prices. Oh yeah, and this little thing called the internet, which made it way easier to find private tours or compare tours and excursions from other companies. So we started comparing prices. The cruise lines rarely run these tours themselves. They buy them from the same local excursion companies and add their cut and sell it back to you. But you can book that tour yourself with a reputable operator and you get to keep the difference. Now, of course, we do a mix of everything on all cruises. Sometimes we do book with the cruise line because we might have a short turnaround time or want a full day excursion and want that added guarantee. And sometimes we book directly with the tour providers themselves on their websites. And then there are third-party operators like Shore Excursions Group. And you can save up to 40% off cruise line advertised shore excursion prices using their service. In fact, you can scan the QR code on screen right now, or click our exclusive link down in the description. Their platform is super easy to use. Just put in cruise line, ship, and sailing date. Shore Excursion Group will show you all the potential tours, and you can even save more with bundle tours for several ports. We've booked with Shore Excursions Group in several different regions, and with their return to ship guarantee, we've made it back on board with plenty of time to spare. We used to treat the online check-in like a formality. We'd get to it a few days out whenever we remembered. That habit doesn't work anymore. Here's what's changed. On most major cruise lines now, check-in is where you lock in your port arrival time. Cruise lines like Royal Caribbean, Carnival, and Disney use staggered arrival windows to keep the terminal from overcrowding. And this is the part newer cruisers get wrong. You just can't show up early anymore. Arrive well before your window, and the cruise line will turn you away or make you wait outside until it's your turn. Carnival and Disney are notorious for this. So the early slots are gone fast, and once they're gone, you're boarding mid-afternoon while the ship's already alive without you. That's why we now set a reminder and check in as early as possible, which is anywhere from 2 weeks to 45 days out of your embarkation day, depending on the cruise line. We grab the earliest window, walk on while the terminal's still quiet. Just keep in mind when you do get on early, your cabin most likely won't be ready. So make sure to pack a well-stocked carry-on bag. That includes things like a change of clothes, all your electronics, all your valuables, and any medication you may need that first day. That way you can hit the ground running. Now, if you're planning your first cruise and just the idea of different cruise fare types, staterooms, embarkation day is starting to stress you out, we completely understand. That's why we want to send you a completely free copy of our Ultimate Cruise Planning Guide, just updated for 2026. It covers everything we wish we knew before our first cruise. It also includes a budget worksheet, cruise planning checklist, and packing guides take you from booking to on board. So scan the QR code on screen or click our exclusive link down in the description and download your completely free copy today. Now, this is an honest admission. For the first couple years we were cruising, we rolled the dice and cruised without travel insurance. Luckily, nothing ever went wrong, so we told ourselves we were fine, and that's exactly the trap. And the more we traveled, we looked at what actually can go wrong on a cruise and how much it costs. If something serious happens, a medical evacuation off a ship can run tens of thousands of dollars, for example. Now, here's the part most people don't realize. Your regular health plan often stops at the water's edge, so you need travel insurance that has good medical coverage. Because if you don't have a policy, that bill is all yours. And other things can happen too, like misconnections, a canceled sailing, or lost luggage. And going without travel insurance starts to look reckless. So now we never sail without it. We actually carry an annual travel policy since we travel enough that it beats buying a new plan every single trip. But of course, everyone's situation is different. We also recommend you do some homework and compare policies in different plans. You're almost better off buying a travel insurance policy from third-party providers than purchasing the travel protection through the cruise line. So the sooner you buy travel insurance after making your initial deposit, often the better terms and pricing you can get. And depending on your situation, you should also consider looking at travel insurance that has cancel for any reason coverage. It's almost tough to admit this, but on our early cruises, we basically lived out of our suitcase. We would dig for a shirt, zip it back up, and do it all over again the next day. And in that small space, that was a mistake. Cruise cabins are tight, and clutter makes them feel tighter. A suitcase open on the floor or on the bed eats up the little room space you have and wears on you by day 3. So now, the moment our bags arrive, we unpack completely. All our nighttime clothes go on hangers, and now we use packing cubes to make unpacking even easier. We also use some cruise cabin hacks like magnetic hooks to hang things like jackets, bags, and hats, as well as an over-the-door shoe organizer to store things like our toiletries, sundries, medications, small electronics, suntan lotion, and other items. This allows us to maximize the space in a cabin. Oh, and that empty suitcase? Well, we slide it right under the bed, where it fits on nearly every ship. Unpacking probably takes you 15 to 20 minutes, and you do it right before you go to sleep on day 1. But Then you don't have to worry about it for the rest of the cruise. By unpacking, it makes your cabin feel significantly bigger and reduces any stress you might have looking for your items. When we started cruising, there wasn't even a thing such as drink packages, and Wi-Fi packages were sold by the minute. And depending on the cruise line and itinerary, it is hit or miss if we used to buy drink packages. Now, we don't necessarily have to guess anymore. We can run the numbers because the break-even point does vary depending on the cruise line and the promotion. For most cruise lines, you need to drink about 6 or 7 alcoholic beverages a day to break even. But you also need to factor in premium non-alcoholic beverages like specialty coffees, bottled water, soda, and fresh juices. For some, once you factor in those, the package might make sense. You also need to know the policies. Most cruise lines, if one adult in the cabin buys a package, then everyone of drinking age has to. And there's an additional gratuity that's often added on top of the advertised price for drink packages. Now, the same logic comes for Wi-Fi, but I'll be 100% honest, we always purchase a Wi-Fi package now. It just depends on the type of package. Do we get a surf or a stream package, so one that's only good for social media, or one that allows for video conference calls? Do we get one device or multiple devices? And do we buy it separately, or does one person buy it and share devices? Also need to consider loyalty status, as loyalty status affects things like free internet, free drinks, and discounts on these packages. In the early days of cruising, at the end of the cruise, you get envelopes in your stateroom and a letter with suggested amounts you should tip the staff. And at first, we didn't realize this was even a thing. We had budgeted for the fare, the excursions, and the drinks, and forgot about the service charge waiting on our bill. And that number keeps climbing. A few years ago, the daily gratuity sat around $12 to $14 a day per person. Now most cruise lines charge between $16 to $20 plus per person per day, depending on the stateroom category. So for 2 individuals on a week-long cruise, that's well over $200 that some people forget to plan for. So we stopped treating it as a surprise and started prepaying our gratuities when we book. The real advantage when you prepay your gratuities beyond budgeting is that you lock in the current rate. The cruise line raises gratuities between your booking and your sail date, which happens more than you would expect. You still pay the older, lower rate. Then it's off your final bill entirely on the last morning when the guest service line is a nightmare. Now we have to own this next one, because on our very first cruise, it nearly ended before it started. We booked a flight for the morning of the cruise, an early departure with a layover in the middle of January. Now we made it to the embarkation port with time to spare, but we never chanced it ever again. So here's the hard truth. Flights get delayed, canceled, there's missed connections, and the ship will not wait for you. Now you're chasing the ship to your next port on your own dime, or you've lost the cruise entirely. So now we don't stress. We fly in at least one day before our cruise, regardless of the destination. We book a hotel near the port, have a nice dinner, and wake up relaxed instead of frantic. On winter sailings or long international trips, we might even come in 2 days early. A stress-free embarkation sets the tone for the whole week. On those early cruises, we tried to do it all. Every show, every activity, get off at every port. We come home more worn out than when we left. The cruise is supposed to recharge you, and we were treating it like a checklist. So we changed how we plan a little bit. Now we pick a shorter must-do list and prioritize the things that we know we would regret if we missed. So pick your priorities. Do you really want to try a certain specialty dining restaurant? Do you want to make sure you go to headline a production show? Visit the spa? Or do one of the most popular excursions? A lot of those open up early for booking. And if there's something you know you definitely want to do, book it as soon as possible. And that's exactly what we do. We also now front load our must-do list for the first couple of days because weather can close outdoor venues and the crowds only build as the week goes on. But don't overplan things minute by minute, day by day. We found that sometimes the best moments on a cruise are the ones you didn't book. A slow sea day in the afternoon, coffee on the balcony at sunrise, room to say yes to something you didn't see coming. For years, we treated every port as if it was mandatory. Get off the ship no matter what, review shore excursions and tours, and felt the need to book something. Then it clicked. Some of the best hours we'd ever spent on board were the ones where everyone else had left. So now, on nearly every cruise, we pick one port to actually stay on the ship on purpose. The crowds are gone, the pool's wide open, the hot tubs are empty, The good loungers are all yours, and there's no lines anywhere. And here's an insider bit. Ship spas often run discounts on port days. There might be other discounts on drinks or onboard activities, meaning that if you stay on board, you can actually save money while everyone else is spending it ashore. Now, there are some caveats here. Don't waste a bucket list port or private island day sitting on board. Go see Santorini. Go enjoy the beach at the cruise line's private island. Save your stay on board day for a repeat port or a stop that's low on your list. Or attend a port that's a hassle to reach anyway. We pick that one throwaway port, treat it like a private sea day, and it becomes one of our favorite parts of any cruise. On those first couple of cruises, every little thing seemed to rattle us. A show that we couldn't find seats for, a reservation we missed, port day that didn't go as planned, all seemed to get under our skin. After 100 cruises, here's what we know. None of that is what you'll remember. You won't come home talking about the wrong dinner seating. You'll remember the sunset from your balcony, the laughs you had at the comedy club, or the new port waking up in front of you. That's the cruise experience. So we stopped chasing every cruise being perfect. Of course, we research, we make our plans, and then we let some of the small stuff go and protect the big moments. So get on board, relax, and enjoy the ship you're on. Now for that cruise mistake you're about to make on your very next cruise. For years, we booked every cruise ourselves, straight through the cruise line. We had done it enough times that we figured we had everything handled. And that was a miss. And honestly, after 100 cruises, we should have caught on a lot sooner. Here's the thing. Booking directly with the cruise line doesn't save you any money. In fact, you're actually leaving money on the table. When you book with a certified travel advisor, they may have a better rate, like group rates. They might be running additional deals or promotions on top of any of the savings shown on the cruise line's website. These deals could mean extra onboard credit, or perks like a specialty dinner, prepaid gratuities, or free Wi-Fi. And the best part, it costs you nothing. The cruise line pays the commission, not you. Now, Heidi and I are not travel advisors, and that's why we partner with MEI Travel. We love working with our personal cruise consultant, Blair, who navigates all the options to find the ideal cruise line, ship, and itinerary while ensuring we take advantage of any deals and promotions. So get the same great deals that we do by scanning the QR code on screen or clicking our exclusive link down in the description to book your next cruise adventure with MEI Travel. Just tell them Don from Eat Sleep Cruise sent you. And of course, we have plenty of other cruise tips and cruise advice videos right here on YouTube to help you stay one step ahead of everyone else on board.